watching a lovely OxyClean video.
There's our video. Oh, jeez, I'm frozen.
I can still hear you spin.
All right, folks, welcome to another episode of the Star Citizen Report, hosted by Grievance. And welcome all there in the channel. I see quite a few people already. Putting our information up there. You can find our previous episodes on our YouTube at Grievance Gaming. You'll see our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Grievance, where you can tune in every other Saturday. Catch us at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. As we talk about all new Star Citizen, and you can join us in the live cast. And without further ado, we get that screen out of the way, and we'll see your host for tonight.
Hey, it's Memo. Welcome back,
folks.
folks, and welcome to everybody that's new here. I think I cut Thamin off again.
Oh, it's okay. And as y'all can see, we didn't even get a proper start, and Spin is spinning again.
Yes, it's horrifying and embarrassing, but at least, you know, the symbol makes some kind of sense.
And our last co-host down there.
Oh,
There you
hey,
go,
I'm Woopnyo. Obviously, I'm paying attention.
All right, folks, welcome again. We're going to be, I'm going to briefly go over what we'll be covering tonight. And we do have a lot of big news. Again, I see Heroes at Large Gaming Corner representing. Welcome. Someone's asking who's the heavy breathing. It's not me. Bunch of names. Hello, Fly Dog. Hello, Frog Muscle. A lot of Grievance folks in there, too. And everybody, welcome. So, just to give you some updates on what we're going to be covering tonight. We just had CitizenCon, so we have a lot of videos, a lot of pictures to show you from CitizenCon. Big news, first peeks at Squadron 42 and the beginnings of the Persistent Universe. I don't know. Star Citizen 2.2, they call it the baby Persistent Universe. We have a new dogfighter available, Saber, along with the military sale with that. We have a star map now live on the website. Go to it later. You're here now. Go to it later and check it out. There was an Idris tour as part of CitizenCon. And we will be giving away a Merlin later. Memo donated a Merlin, so you'll have to be around to answer a trivia question on that. So, just to give you... Yeah, Eggy, not sure. Sometimes that happens. Like, he was there until we started broadcasting, and then this... Spin, you're still there, right?
I am still here.
Yeah. We haven't figured this out where sometimes we lose video and sometimes he pops back. We'll have to figure that out. Interestingly enough, though, he's spinning. He's spinning.
That's kind of awesome, I guess.
Just to also give folks an idea ahead of time, that's not just Star Citizen, but Grievance in general. We will not have a show on October 31st. Big Halloween plans, so are going to have to miss out on that one. So our next show will be on November 14th, again, 6 p.m. Central. Also, just to let you know, next weekend is also a big broadcast for charities here at Grievance. November 7th and 8th. For November 7th, we are going to be doing Extra Life benefiting Children's Miracle Network, so there will be a 24-hour stream right here on this channel. And as far as the 8th, it sounds like we also have a charity run that day with three for Veterans Day with three veterans charities: Marine Recon, Wounded Warrior, and Call of Duty Endowment. So again, also join us on the main channel here next weekend for those charities. Love to see us. All right. So let's talk CitizenCon here. CitizenCon, it's third birthday for Star Citizen. And 3 years ago, this was just a crowdfunding attempt with little resources actually available. It's hard to even remember that the Austin office didn't open until early 2013. So, you know, that's not like we've... You got to think, boy, how long was it even from that end of that Kickstarter to the Austin office? And it felt like the wheels were really rolling. And that was only 20 people back then. They gave an opening presentation at CitizenCon that kind of showed a timeline of important events and dates. And now we've reached, even since CitizenCon, we've reached over 1 million Star Citizens. They have 270 dedicated staff. And now I know we're over $93 million raised for the game. Oh, sorry. Eggy's correcting me in 2 weekends, not next weekend. Sorry, Eggy. I got the wrong info then. But thanks for correcting me there. So, sorry for the bad info there. Now, Star Citizen 1.3 is what they first started talking about here. And I'm going to get some pictures up here. Oh, first treat I have, this came up on the web somewhere. I think it's a pretty good preview of a little more that we'll be seeing in the Star Citizen universe. Not something that Memo's going to want to see and not something that I'm going to want to see, and I'll get into that. But here's a constellation going down in flames for your enjoyment. It's much more impressive when they actually...
I think I'm going to see that quite often is the problem. Although it'll probably be from the inside out.
Oh, sorry. I see what Eggy was saying. My dates were right, November 7th and 8th. My actual timing was off because it's the 17th today. Sorry. Lamp is blocking my calendar. That's my... and question already for Novatech, was Memo flying that Connie? Steele says yes.
See streak.
All right,
He
folks.
was
So
in the rear with the gear, apparently.
Just stay in your reclaimer where you'd be more useful that way.
oh, that's
Yeah,
funny.
right.
Streak.
I
You
can
can see Streak vacuuming if you look close, man.
I can get like 3 of those in the reclaimer, so it's all good.
All right, so Star Citizen 1.3. It has already been pushed to the PTU, the Persistent Test Universe. They've added a few things, a new ballistic cannon and mass driver, so folks got some more stuff to play around with. There are additional emotes available. They linked them. It was more than I can really put here, but I thought it's funny because even dance, there's like dance 1, dance 2, up to like dance 8 or something. There's about 8 different claps as well. Quite a lot of variety in how you can do an emote. There's going to be a character loadout selector in the hangar so that you can, easier to find how you can kind of change and put on something more dashing when you go out into ArcCorp. ArcCorp itself has additions and improvements, an improved elevator interface, which is great because we didn't really have a tutorial on entering ArcCorp, so that took a little figuring out.
Turn around and press the button. It's not that difficult.
Let's see. And other than that, also buggies in ArcCorp, and that are functional also upon respawn. So, and some polishing touches. And that what I thought was funny too, because as you go down here, the Grey Cat buggies in ArcCorp can explode and be destroyed when they impact at high speed. Right there. I'm all for that. Let's see some death racing around ArcCorp, man.
Death racing, what it's called whenever Memo participates in a race. Death racing.
Gosh, can't wait to blow those things up. So yes, you may be respawning in the medical center in ArcCorp if you're not watching where the buggies are going. They added a number of things to an elevator to Area 18 that will now show all available instances of your ArcCorp. So you can see how many people are present in each one or where the people from your contact list are, which is also helpful because we did that as grievance one night. A couple of us got lucky. We were in the same instance. Everyone else kind of was going back out and back in until they found us. Camera free look can be activated by Shift G. Control F is now the hotkey to disembark a ship. Here's the sad one for some of us. Increase the health of all ships. Increased overall shield strength of all ships to reduce alpha damage.
Why is that a problem?
Bring up survival.
You need to elaborate on why that's a problem, Thamin.
Because
I
he's a
can-
killer.
I can hit the enemy ships, but now increased health, they're still going to survive better. I don't know. There
Yeah,
are
but so will
still-
you.
Yeah, exactly. That was my thought. Spin nailed it there.
I was in a Hornet. I was doing pretty good. Oh, Mufasa wants to see a flaming buggy race. Look at that.
Well, tune in anytime I'm racing.
Missile damage
Like
has been
ejects you.
increased slightly. That would be interesting. An eject on the buggy.
Yeah.
Missile damage increased slightly to keep pace with health and improve effectiveness. Missile lock times has been adjusted. They didn't clarify on that. Energy weapon velocity buffed across the board to be faster than ballistics. Again, the reasoning, the energy weapons don't do damage until they've knocked the shields down. So they're, in that respect, they're still a bit of a disadvantage to ballistics, in that respect. Otherwise, they talked about a new Galleria that's also currently under construction but available for exploration. Oh. And that's all the news I had about for that part. Let's see, where fly? Oh, Strieg also commenting, whenever I fly with Memo, I just hang out in the escape pod the whole time.
Thank you for taking that out of chat and reading that out loud, Thamin. I appreciate that, but I will try to return that favor at some point.
That's why I try to tell the folks later to view this on YouTube. You got to check out the live chat. There's a party in that channel.
There is. It is awesome.
All right, Woopnyo.
Oh, okay. So if you guys watched the Star Citizen Alpha 2.0, you saw this amazing new video. It's like 20 minutes. Go check it out. It's awesome. They apparently fixed the physics in the cryo system, so that way they can actually have people walking on the ships, multi-crew, while one ship is moving. They actually had two ships in the same area. They had a Connie Andromeda that they just popped right up, and they walked up to the platform, and another guy spawned a Hornet, and he walked up to his Hornet, and he could see the guys get onto the Andromeda. The elevator came down, picked up the three guys, and then they dispersed across the ship. They had one pilot, and I didn't see anybody else use any other systems other than the turrets, because of course they had to put in some fight in there, so you can understand how it's supposed to work. And it was really cool to see how people were actually able to get on ship and move around. We were worried that people would start moving the ship, and then you get like plastered to a wall, or physics would just not work for you. But apparently they got it fixed. It looked pretty good. They also had the first air dock and ejection from a ship. I shouldn't say ejection, disembark from a ship. A guy went into free space, got out of the Hornet, went to the satellite, and hooked it up by pressing E or F or something, just one button, reset. And they got on the ship, and then they went off to a FPS area. And that was where I think they went to, what was that, the Colvex shipping hub? Is that the one? I think so. No, they said the name, but I think that's what it was called.
Yeah, Kovalex Shipping Hub had a catastrophic accident. Now serves a ghost station. It would have been either that or Security Post Karaya, which is also a abandoned designated FPS area.
Oh, I think it was the Post Karaya then. Okay. So both ships, after fixing the satellite, got a mission, and they landed on that place, the Security Post Karaya. And they both landed on different landing trays, or landing docks, whatever. They got disembarked from ships and went inside, and then that started the FPS module. The four guys went in and tried to download some data. It was pretty cool to like go throughout the new interiors. It's really detailed, and lighting is really nice. But then they were ambushed, and this time the Op 4 won. The bounty hunters, or whatever you want to call them. They
The
destroyed.
banded element, yeah.
Yeah, the bandit element. Okay, those four guys won, and they were like down like 30 HP for one guy, so they lived, but it wasn't an easy fight. They walk off and they stole the Andromeda, and they just left with. They killed the four guys and they took their ship. I thought it was pretty sweet. I don't want that to happen to me, but it was pretty cool. But it showed
to
up.
the-
well,
That's what I say. Much to the cheers of everyone who was watching it at the time.
well, yeah, it's a great feature. I just don't want it to happen to me. So. I mean, nobody really wants that to ever happen to them. But it was really cool to see the different choices and different options you had, because you just go up to the computer terminal and you'd say which one that you want, which ship that you want, the Andromeda, the Ghost, whatever one you want to use, and it'll tell you which shuttle bay or which landing bay it'll be at. And it's interesting because there's like 64 spawn points on that landing point, and then there's only 10 landing points there, like 10 places where you can get on your ship. So I guess when you have to hail to land, they make sure that one of the spots is open and they won't spawn another ship there for a short period of time until another one leaves. It'd be really interesting because otherwise one would be there and you'd like land on top of it, or one would be landing and one would spawn right inside of you. That would be completely unhealthy. But they also show that it's more realistic how you walk out to the area. You have to go through airlocks. There's depressurization. There's seamless transition between ship combat and space, like moving around in it, and then going to first-person shooter mode. That was a really good transition.
I was very odd about that. I mean, you did have a few naysayers I saw on that were saying that, hey, this is stuff we've seen before. It's like, no, it isn't. Not to this level, I don't believe. I mean, Gamescom, yes, we saw something similar, but this is now a much, like a really huge area that we're talking about, that all this action is moving across.
There are always naysayers, but the fact is we saw a ton of new content.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot. There's so much going on in there, and it's great to see it. And Spin and Mufasa, you were talking about the starter packages around Christmas time. They had a sale last year for $25 for a starter package for the Aurora MR. And I got one of those that we're going to give away sometime. Mm-hmm. But they might do it again this Christmas. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they have another starter sale again. I mean, they just started their referral program, which means they're starting to look out a little more towards bringing in more citizens, even though we've got 1 million.
Mm-hmm.
That's not enough.
They're
And that-
finally starting to look at it. Yeah.
That was really
Only 1
boosted
million?
after
That sounds like such a
CitizenCon.
small number.
I'm still showing parts of the video, and here's where you see even the Hornet pilot getting out of the Hornet in mid-space, and the part where he's going into that satellite and hooking things. You go into the satellite, you turn it on, and I guess it opens up nav points on your computer.
Mm-hmm. It's really cool how they do it. It just looks a little, I want to say rudimentary. It looks just too easy to me.
So I was thinking you could have had a pirate kind of sitting and wait in there too, for whatever reason. You know, he didn't get on the ship in time or something like that.
Where timer reach is like 5 seconds when he just gets there and it's game over. But it's pretty cool what you're able to do. Even though this is just still the alpha steps and they're going to make more or less depending on what we say about it. But it does look pretty cool.
How about you guys? There was I was trying to think. Right now, even there's the footage I'm showing, Star Citizen releases the Alpha 2.0 press demo. Even that's about 20 minutes going through this whole segment, showing everything, showing the action in space, showing them get the stuff. Let's see. Oh, hey, Whoop, tell us about the service platforms. We saw a bit of that.
Okay, so when you, at the beginning of it, you walked up to this computer terminal, and you got to choose a list of all the different ships. Now, of course, if you only have certain ships, only certain ships will show up on the list. But of course, the developers, they have the full list showing it off to press. They can pick whatever they want. So it spawns up on one of the landing platforms, and it tells you where it's going to be. There's only 10 landing platforms at this place, and this one was like landing point 4, and I think another one, the Hornet was on 6 or something like that. So 3 guys go off one way, and 1 guy goes up the other way, and they walk up to the landing platform, and they get into the ship and go. They just spawn it and left.
Oh, I meant the. I'm sorry. I meant the place where they after the battle is kind of showing these little bots repairing the ships. The rearm refuel stations.
Okay, yes. When they first got to the satellite spot, I feel stupid. At the satellite spot, they had a couple pirates attack them, and of course, the Hornet's going to take some damage anyways, and the Andromeda's a big ship; it's going to take some damage. So it looked like it was like leaking air or some kind of fuel, maybe. I don't know. It's all the puffs coming out, and there's some damage done to the ships. So after they finished their fight, fixed the satellite, they took a jump point back to another satellite section at the landing spot, and they landed on the spots, and these droids came up and automatically repaired, refueled, and rearmed them all. Now that might change later. There's going to be money, there's going to be economy involved in that. You're going to tell what ships do what at what point, how to repair it and such. But right now, it's just going to be land and everything gets fixed and you take off. It's kind of like Battlefield.
Yeah, everyone's getting a freebie for now. They did say eventually they will have these missions. You get paid UEC for them, and yes, the fuel's going to cost something. So you're going to have to pay attention too on your fuel, your jumps, and those kind of things.
Sounds
really
like
cool.
a fantastic money sink, because I'm sure there's going to be microtransactions for stuff like this. This is going to cost me and Deuce a fortune. Right, Deuce?
I don't think you have to repair for things to be destroyed. You got to.
I'm talking about the gas. I mean,
Oh.
Well,
One thing
you know, I used to be able to kid you about you're driving a big gas guzzler and that, but later in the show we'll explain how come I can't kid you on that stuff anymore.
yeah, we will. And I have some interesting news about my Connie as well with my section. So
Fine, I'm the only one that's boring then.
That
now,
and
you can always be
Novacek.
crew
You
for
might-
me,
he probably
Whoop.
still
I
only
mean,
has
I'm
that
going
one
to go
ship.
through a revolving door of crews, so you're more than welcome.
Thanks.
I'll tell you one thing that jumped out to me about the repair robots, and that is how quickly the damage was repaired. It wasn't a huge amount of damage, but it just goes to tell you that when we're actually, out in the game, under combat conditions, that we land, and we're not talking about 15 minutes while we wait for stuff to be repaired. That was about 45, maybe a minute 10, and the minor damage was all repaired. The repair bots took off, and the Hornet was able to launch again. And I think that's a good sign. It's enough time to know that, you've stopped and had to repair, but not enough time for a player to get bored with it.
I agree.
Hey, thanks Psychedelic Trance for following. Nice to have you guys here. Like I say, we do this show every once every 2 weeks, and although it does kind of tend to last about an hour, I think it's the best to get condensed on some of this, the footage and all the news from everywhere. We're seeing a bit of that firefight too. I don't think mentioned. You notice where they were able to pick up some rifles and that on parts of the station. So it does make it sound like they put loot and goods out there for players to use, but you risk the first-person shooter aspect of it.
I don't think I'd ever walk onto a strange place I haven't been before with just a pistol. Maybe that's just me.
Yeah. I mean, you do what you gotta do, brother.
We all get that special Magnum thing that came out because we're all like those alpha subscribers or something like that. So we got
Come
that.
on.
that-
You mean like me?
We are all going to be armed to the teeth at all times. Like, go to the bathroom. What do you got? Well, I got my assault rifle. I got 2 pistols and a combat knife and a crossbow, just in
Oh.
case.
We'll
I
wipe
became
with
aware
bullets.
of this game because I had to stop an argument on our grievance forums between 2 members who were arguing, it is an MMO, it isn't an MMO. I still don't know either way, but it's what introduced me to the game. It's been a downhill monetary slide since then. So I've been here since, I've been one of the early backers, thankfully. So I do have that Magnum thing. I'll just leave it there.
You sound
Me and
so
Whoop
proud of
have
your
some
head.
running jokes going that just don't need to be public. So
All right. Are we Whoop, was there anything else? Otherwise, Spin's up next for the star map. Tell us
I'll
about
use
that.
Spin. And off to you,
Okey-dokey.
Spin.
So feel free, Thamin, to keep as many videos or pictures going as you want, since I'm not there and there's nothing pretty for the people to look at. There's only you 3.
Thanks.
So
oh, ouch.
the first thing is they started off the Q&A talking about Pluto as a planet. And I'm just going to let that go. There was one
What?
nice... Is it a planet? Is it a planet? Is it a dwarf planet? Look,
When I was
that
in
does
grade
not.
school, it was a planet, so I'm gonna stick with that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but when you were in grade school, we're still chiseling onto stone tablets. So
Okay, so it's a guy who's not much younger than me.
actually, I think I'm older, but that's fine.
I don't think so, but anyways,
They
We
I
still
can
made those
compare
appreciate it.
tablets
ages
like
later.
chisel.
Right
Um,
on.
the nice thing that came out of that question was really this is only the first version of the Star Map. Just like everything else in Star Citizen, it's the first version. They're going to continue to add to it and improve it. And they've asked for feedback already, and they're getting some on the forums. So that's my first point for the Star Map. The next one is jump point sizes. Awesome. There's small, there's medium, there's large. That is going to create some tactics and strategies for where your ships are going and how they're going to get there. Fantastic. They haven't sorted out exactly what physical size of ship can go through what size of wormhole yet, but that will come. It's just a matter of time. Now we've got the star map and it's on the site now. You can go on and look at it at any time. And the way you find it is by going to the main site and you go hover over Star Citizen and then it says the game, ship matrix, star map. Click on the star map you're in. That star map that you see there is going to be what you see in game. There's been no confirmation that there are Easter eggs, although the way they denied it leads me to believe there are Easter eggs. Call me crazy. I'm sure we'll come across them as time progresses on. Now, there is a limited amount of information on the star map, and some people were saying there should be more information on the forums. Personally, I like it to be a little more succinct. That's not where I want, when I'm in the game and I'm playing, that's not where I want to look things up. And if I'm out of the game, I'm going to be able to open up another window and get more details. But there is going to be links to the Galactopedia, but you're not going to get all the other links like the Galactic Guides and the Observist articles and other things that might be associated with each system. The way they described it is, we're giving you the scholarly arc cartographer's look at what the universe is. If you want more, then you're looking for tourist information and things like that, and that'll be separate.
Yeah, that's amazing. I'm hoping they have some kind of companion apps and things like that, because if they don't, the community will be putting them out.
I remember reading I think it was a dev post that talked about, they said in the Q&A, there are going to be apps, we're looking at apps in the future, and I remember a dev post talking about something more in detail, that you're going to be able to have an app and plan a route while you're sitting on the bus coming home from work.
That'd be awesome.
When you get there, the route is already in your system ready to go.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
One point is the distances of routes calculated. They give you distances, but the jump points aren't considered to have any distance. So the distances are the part you'll have to travel normally, either in normal space or at quantum speed, and then the jump is separate. So you jump across the whole galaxy, but you only have to actually fly one astronomical unit. The length of the journey is one astronomical unit. Now, if you look at the star map, it's kind of interesting. They have a lot of different things to look at, a lot of different filters and setups. You can look at the different factions, what they've called them, but essentially territories. They're all on as default, and you can turn some off so you just see the Vandul planets, or you just see the UEE planets, or the Banu planets, or the ones that are under development. Fantastic. And then it's the same with the jump points. You can see
It's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, you can see which size jump points you want. Now, there's very few small jump points, or a lot fewer small jump points than large, and I'm not sure yet if that's deliberate or they just haven't put in all the small jump points. So it's going to be interesting to see how the star map develops. Now, when you look at thank you to Reddit, by the way, for this 2D representation, because it's a lot easier to see the different domains, the different factions in the 2D star map that I got off of Reddit than it is to see in the actual star map, because there's so much more detailed information. Here, when you look at it, you can see it colored, the Vandul, the Banu, the UEE in the middle. Awesome. And I would say the most important thing about this star map, and even the Reddit interpretation of the star map is it gives me a sense of solidity about what the game is going to be like, how big it is. I mean, I'll talk more about it during the Moro tour, but think of a ship as an instance inside a battle instance inside this larger universe. It's going to be huge. And when you look at the different faction areas, you can see where the points of conflict are likely going to be. It gives me a good feeling that we're making progress in the game. Another good feeling that we're making progress in the game. And another reason to, well, take a grain of salt when you hear people complain about what's going on with Star Citizen.
Sorry, I am trying to grab that shortcut right now to post it in Twitch.
I really like how they're able to show the different factions. That was really cool to look at the map and see, oh, this place isn't even claimed yet. Oh, this place over here is rebels or something. And then they have two that aren't even, they're being worked on, not named yet. I thought that was really cool.
I think it's interesting.
I know we have.
Mufasa's pointing out there's a missing jump from Crowshot to Davion. Maybe they did a release here. Maybe that's actually now supposed to be a jump we're supposed to find.
That's what I was just going to say. We go ahead, Spin. Sorry.
Well, I was going to say, on that point, I actually did a little count, and I came up with 90 systems, and I'm pretty sure there's supposed to be 100, wasn't there? So does that mean there's 10 that are undiscovered yet? Or are they coming in a future update? I don't know. But it's interesting to speculate.
I don't understand why you
one of the things I love about Grievance. We have people like Mufasa and Spin and even Nova that are going to pick these images apart and compare them to what we've been told and what we're expecting and be able to pick out the inconsistencies so, we know things are coming, which is great.
Great.
Let's see what else we can do here is we can look at different, you can plan routes, you can look at different areas of activity. And I know as an old EVE player, that can become very important. Being able to see where the criminal activity is, being able to see where the most economic activity is, and where the population centers are. And I'm willing to put money down on the fact, and essentially we all have, that they are going to continue to improve this star map for the number of filters so that especially on the economic side, more and more information is going to be available. Because the simple volume of economic transactions is very raw when you compare it to the potential complexity of financial and trade activity in this game.
All right. And I was thinking one part, I didn't get my notes, but I remember it came up too. Chris Roberts made a point of this saying was when you're telling your ship to calculate distances or calculate a route, and he said, if you've already got your butt kicked 32 times in whatever system, you can tell it, don't go through that system so you don't get your butt kicked going through it again. Thought that was a fun little way to go about things, too.
That's right. And the way they talked about routes is you've got a whole bunch of different options about how you want to plan your route. Do you want it to be the fastest route? Do you want it to be the safest route? Do you want it to be the most fuel-efficient route? Do you want to route through or around certain systems? Lots of options there, and that's exactly what we're looking for.
And we've got a comment, XXX, new XXX, 99 system is exactly announced in the background.
Yeah, and I only counted 90.
Okay.
But remember, Uranus isn't one of
them. All right.
Nothing.
Let it go, man. Let it go.
All right. We wrapping up that. Got anything else, or Memo's got the next part for us?
Let's move on to Memo.
All right. But glad to have that map to play around with.
I'm glad I got to make a Uranus comment. I mean, how often do you get to do that? Anyways, my section tonight is there is a cross-chassis upgrade system that they have put out on the website to where you can pull up your hangar on one side and every upgradable ship on the other side. So it shows you can go from ship to this ship. And I know that Thamin, although we've heard him talk about his freelancer for the last, 2 years, no longer owns a freelancer. He upgraded to a Connie. And I also have upgraded my Connie, the Andromeda, to the Aquila through this system. It's really cool. It shows you what you have and it shows you what you can get. And I mean, it's a nice system. The math isn't mind breaking. I mean, I can add $50 and $25 and $75 here and there and subtract it. But it is nice to know that you can go from this ship to the next. And you don't lose any rewards or insurance or any of that stuff.
You want to make sure you're converting from a good thing, keeping a good thing, because, yes, when I went from the Freelancer to the Taurus, the system helped because it made me realize that's only $10. And so I was debating. Obviously, the Taurus won out. But I had LTI with the Freelancer coming over. Now I have LTI with the Constellation, which I didn't previously have. Now I'm looking at the same, messing around with my Mustang Racer that I got with the video card last year. Unfortunately, I noticed the Mustang only has about 2 months insurance. Quite likely that one's actually just going to get melted down and then buy a different ship.
Still trying to decide what to do with my Avenger. I haven't seen any of the concepts yet for it yet, and it's only got like 2 months insurance on it.
Well, have you looked at the
We've been waiting for that
the upgrades and see what you can turn it into?
Yeah, but I've already got a Super Hornet, and like I can spend another $100 and make it a real ship. Come on.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you got to look at it like this. Before, you had to go in, melt it down to store credits, and see what you could play with your store credits. And now you can do a direct upgrade. And you know, I'd been thinking about the Aquila, and I actually had some store credits out there, so it showed me what the price difference was. And
well, my Avenger seats 4, so
Woopnyo, you said upgrade from a Super Hornet, which is not a real ship.
No, you wasn't talking about the Super Hornet, were you?
All right.
I don't have LTI in it, and it's not doing anything yet. So I like the main cannon.
Doesn't have LTI.
No, my Super Hornet does. My Avenger does.
The Avenger doesn't.
My Avenger's bringing me down.
Well, you might want to transfer it up, or even melt it and get something with LTI and go up. Then. Yeah.
I want to see what the Avenger, like the things come out for it.
What the options are for it.
Right.
The nice thing is you can go in and play, and you don't have to commit.
Yeah.
All right, Memo. I have you move on the next subject.
Referral program.
We've got 20 minutes left in the show, folks, and eventually still a Merlin giveaway. So.
Oh yeah, we need to do that. We have the referral program. You go into your RSI and click on your account. You'll see a link to the referral program and your number. And referrals can grant you squadron badges, UECs, apparently an upgraded version of the fish tank, gold ship models. 10 referrals equals an Aurora DX package. So if you bring 10 people into the game, you get an Aurora DX package.
To give to one of those people.
Yeah, to give away on the show.
Right.
And 5,000. I've already probably brought over 20 people into this game before the
We're
referral
not even getting paid for this.
Start. I mean, I know. How many people have I brought in just by saying, hey, you need to join this game? I think I gave away some packages as birthday presents to people. You know who you are.
No pressure.
5,000 in UEC reward to everyone who signs up using referral code. That's really cool. It's a good way to do it. But at this point, everybody I know is already in for me because, my excitement about the game is transferred over to them. But, if you know people out there and they're wavering on the edge, fill them in on that. It's a good deal.
Alrighty. So glad to the referral program again. Yeah, I think I'm running out of people to grab into here, but hey, glad we have it now.
I'm out.
All right, so another big thing in CitizenCon, we got to see the Squadron 42 opening video, and we got to see Gary Oldman. And I mean, easy recognizable to a lot of people. All of a sudden, there's a CGI character there's Gary Oldman coming up here delivering this speech. So y'all give me your impressions there. What were you thinking there?
Well, I'll tell you, I thought the speech was good. I enjoyed it. I was really impressed with the facial animations. The sound was fantastic. The voice was just right. The only thing for me was, I'm like, I kind of didn't want to see that until I was actually playing through the story. But I know
Right.
why it was a perfect thing for them to show, because it was a powerful speech, and it does give you a good sense of what Squadron 42 is going to be like. It was just a bit of a spoiler for me. It's not going to ruin the game. It's not going to do anything like that. It's just that in my ideal world, I would have seen that as I was getting into the first time I played Squadron 42 and really getting into my character.
I also enjoyed seeing it. I was amazed at all the little realistic details of these faces. I mean, I think a lot of these games come out and you think, wow, that looks more realistic. And you keep thinking, how are they going to push the bar more than that? And Ken, it's like the bar's been raised again.
Okay, can we lower the bar? Because I need less lens filter and there's lens flares. It's freaking annoying. Let me see the damn guy talk. Oh.
Nice.
Am I wrong here?
I'm not seeing all that many lens flares off of it.
I didn't see that many lens flares either.
Yeah.
Guess
Time to upgrade. Whoop.
But I did see, I mean, talk about photorealistic. Gary Oldman has broken veins in his nose, and you can see them all.
Oh gosh, now I'm gonna have to try to freeze it somewhere here. Up, trying to
You
get
really
a
have
nose
to
shot.
freeze it, man. I can see them now.
And when you go through the facial animation, I know we're not going to talk too much about it, but the video is very impressive for how they do it and what they can do with the face once they have the rig set up. Very impressive. And the nice thing is, it's repeatable. It's not just, you know, they put extra effort into Gary Oldman's speech. They're all going to be like that.
All right. Man, so again, they showcase where they're pushing that CryEngine technology. They were pushing how too, as far as how there was so much code, so much going on for that, and yet they're able to compress it down and then render it in real time as you're playing in just a fraction of the time. So it still sounds like there's a whole lot of information there that gets shrunk down, sent over to the CPU, put back out, and looks awesome. So coming out, I'm going to tell just a little bit more about, I was going to go just a little bit more into Squadron 42, but I'll leave it open if anyone wanted to get something else in about that video.
No, go ahead, mate.
All right. So they have said, you know, it's coming in 2016. You know, we were hoping to see it by the end of this year, so that didn't happen. But, you know, it's going to be a true next-generation AAA game. Obviously well beyond the scope they originally pitched in 2012. It'll include, we've seen this, tactical space, EVA, ground combat in amazing detail, immersive sandbox locations without cutscenes or anything. They've said multiple mission completion paths, so rather than just the linear missions we were used to back in the old Wing Commander. So it sounds like you might have some choices as far as maybe flying around, multi-step, who knows, visiting a planet or a starbase to solve a mission, quote unquote, you know.
Yeah, we can't forget about the giveaway. I'd forget.
All right, it's coming up, folks. We'll actually get it right after this part here. We'll kind of move it up so we make sure we get it underway. They said 10 hours of performance capture. He kind of showed the stack of papers that was the script compared to Wing Commanders, the Wing Commander games and movies, and amazing amount of script. I mean, thud as he threw that thing down on the floor. Crewmates are real people with personalities, storylines of their own, and your character's interactions will create a dynamic conversation and reputation system that will carry into the persistent universe. I did see, I noticed, one thing I picked up, they had Ian Duncan playing the player and having the viewpoint of him, but I kind of wondered, they didn't really say anything about, say, well, what about a female player? You know, is it somebody else, you know, in case, I don't know, third person, you're going off of the skeleton might be a little different. We do know Liam Cunningham is playing a Captain White, and Gillian Anderson is Admiral Bishop's daughter.
Well, remember, it's still an alpha. I'm going to stress that. They've only said that we're only going to be able to play humans starting off, and that makes sense playing the Squadron 42 before the MMO or multi-universe comes out. So that could be a future stretch goal that they're getting to, but right now, no, there's no development on it.
Absolutely. And the next part of Squadron 42 that came up was the Moro tour, and that was the. You want to leave that until after the giveaway?
I want to go ahead and do the giveaway since
Okay.
we've got like 11 minutes left.
Who's timing this?
Oh. But I do want to get the Moro tour. That was awesome. All right. So, Memo, you got a Merlin to give away. Now, this isn't a package, it's a ship.
It's just a ship, no package, folks. But it's an add-on Merlin to whatever you want to do. So, Thamin's got a question for us because, honestly, I didn't come up with one.
So, I have a trivia question for you. What is important is if we announce you as the winner, eventually Memo is going to need your email and your RSI handle in order to gift you the ship. Now, one easy way to do that for the live audience here is find where Memo or Memo say something in chat, and then that way you can click on his, you can left click on his name, message him, and if nothing else, at least get him your email address, so at least that way y'all can shoot back and forth and you can make sure he's gifting it to you.
Yeah,
You're gonna take the question.
it needs to be the email that's associated with your RSI account.
Yes.
Because if you don't have an RSI account, you're kind of SOL on this giveaway.
Because it's impossible to create a new one using Memo's referral code.
That's right. Right.
All right, so that's the important part. Yes, once you win, contacting Memo here. Okay, so here's my question. Get your fingers off the keyboards. Get ready to be the first one to answer it.
You gotta
And
pick them.
I am looking for a full name here, first and last name of somebody related to Star Citizen. And if it's misspelled, that's fine as long as I can tell that you know who you're talking about. So it's just got to be close enough, okay? Here's the
I
question.
don't know what you're talking about.
Supposed to type it in, man.
The old Wingman's hangar that we saw with Eric Wingman Peterson, who was the guy who was behind the camera, who produced, wrote, and edited it? He was in front of the camera a number of times too, but that's the guy I'm looking for. Produced, wrote, and edited Wingman's hangar. And has
I have
since
no
moved
idea,
on for other
folks. So
stuff. This is something that I also even looked up really quickly on Google. There we go. Mufasa answered it. Michael Moreland.
well, he'll have no problem contacting me because he's a grievance member.
All right. So, folks, congratulations, Mufasa, on your new ship.
You now have a Merlin.
Spelled it right, too.
He did spell it right. I would expect nothing less. Me and Thamin were lucky enough to get to meet Mufasa at one of the grievance get-togethers. So
I'm laughing because I saw Newt's reply. On this show, that man is like Voldemort, the one who shall not be named, okay?
yeah, that's something.
All right. So you two get together. Okay, we're getting close. So Spin, go ahead. I'm going to throw some video up here.
Cool. So Moro tour. Essentially, Moro is the name of the engineer. They're giving you a tour of the Idris, the UEE ship Stanton. Now, when you first see it, this little clip, and you can look it up on YouTube and have a watch of it. It's about 11 minutes long. But there's a shuttle ride, and you enter the hangar bay. You pass through the force field, and the first thing that strikes you is the size of that hangar, which is awesome. The next thing that happens is, you start meeting some characters, you're disembarking your gear, you meet Moro, who's the engineer who's giving you the tour, and there's a few things that really struck me about this. We don't have time to go into all the details, but about the hangar, there's blast shields for the fighters to take off, and you actually get to see a fighter taking off using the blast shields. The blast shields rise out of the deck plating, and it's used for the fighter to thrust against to get its good exit. But that's not the only way to get out of the hangar, because you also see the same shuttle you arrived on lift off, turn 180 degrees, and exit the same way it came in, no blast shield at all. So that's obviously to give you an extra bit of thrust so you can come out at your combat speed or at a speed where you're not a sitting duck when you exit the Idris. looked fantastic. The environment inside the hangar, you can see some sort of mist or smoke where they've been working on one of the fighters. You see the exhaust when the fighter takes off using the blast shields. The lighting changes as you go on through the tour. You leave the hangar, you start walking through corridors. You get to the personnel area, and it's all clean and white and brightly lit. And then you go into an engineering area, and you see there's red lights, there's more smoke, there's mist in the air. Really gives you a sense of the environment as you travel through this ship. This ship, as I said before, which is an instance that in a fight is going to be inside another instance, and the two instances are connected. Fantastic, the size and the options. Like I played last weekend the Battlefront beta. I love Star Wars too, but the first map, which was Sullust, is not as big as the Idris. Not nearly as much space, not nearly as many places to run and hide and fight from. And that's the next thing I want to talk about. If you're fighting on board an Idris, the corridors, wide, but there was lots of nooks and crannies to duck into. There was lots of doors and spaces. There's pressure doors all throughout that ship, just as you'd expect in a warship today, because they have to be able to withstand damage. So if the one section is damaged, those pressure doors slam shut, the rest of the ship's able to function. And if you have to transit through that area, then you're going to need to be suited, probably using your mag boots, because I bet the artificial gravity is going to be interrupted in an area like that. This tour made me think of all the exciting kind of things that can happen in the game in a big ship, or even for any size multi-crew ship. Just fantastic. I really enjoyed that video.
I want
it's
to
an
point
amazing
out
video. I agree.
some more attention to detail on the ships. Who is dressed in green? Is that safety? Is that fuel? Like on a Navy ship, like because there's red team is like health and life, blue is I think weapons, something like that. But there was a lot of green guys. I think those were safety guys. Maybe yellows.
Yeah,
fuel.
I'm not a carrier guy, so I don't know, but I would suspect it would be safety.
So
I think fuel's a different color.
So like the second person that you see is the safety guy, is in green and white, so that you can easily identify him. That's really cool to see when you first step off the ship. When those things come out of the deck for the blowback for the Gladius taken off. I think you're far too close. You should have taken damage. The energy that those propulsion jets were pushing off, you should have knocked to the ground and set on fire. But okay, it's in the game. But it's really to see that the safety inspector or the safety guy come out, that was pretty cool to see.
Yeah, and that's a great point. I never really thought of that, but you're absolutely right. I can see how that, someone might complain about a break in their immersion. For me, I look at it and go, intellectually, I understand, why it happened, so they don't have to clear the hangar deck every time they want to launch a ship. Mm-hmm. The thing that jumped out at me, and I always like to poke fun at least one little thing, the whiteness of the teeth. It's almost blinding. Like when you get someone
has
close up on their
dental
face,
care in the future. That's the way it goes.
And they all have Da Vinci porcelains attached to their teeth, apparently.
But yes, I'm just so amazed too, man. You actually tried. Well, wasn't that going to be still one of our game plans in Arena Commander was boarding and capturing an Idris. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, yes, that is a big ship to fight through, and lots of. Scene from Squadron 42. It is. This is a very alpha version. As Chris Roberts said, there was a lot of things about it that needed work. You saw people kind of clipping through walls, clipping through each other. But yes, that's one of the earliest scenes where you can take a tour of the Idris at the start of Squadron 42.
Yeah, what it actually says is, this excerpt is from the beginning of Squadron 42, showcasing the first steps incorporating the performance capture footage into the game, giving the player a walking tour of their new ship, and a brief glimpse of some of the characters they'll serve with aboard the Idris-class frigate UEE Stanton.
Mm-hmm. It's really cool. You can also see why they changed so much in the ship, because it was completely modeled out or whatever. Then they had to remodel it, I guess, in order to fit the second landing bay.
So, folks, live show. I know we don't have too much left in the show. Again, thanks for seeing us. The next show would normally been October 31st. We're not going to be there for that, so it's going to be more November around 14th, whatever that Saturday is that you're all going to see us. I say that, I'm going to go ahead and skip through some things and just kind of bring to a close some of the important stuff we need right at the end here. I'm skipping over the Million Mile High Club. It's great. Now everyone saw it. And SciTech got pictures out there. What I want to take a look at is our other new ship here, the Saber, and talk about that briefly. They have an Aegis Saber military sale. This ship is only available until October 19th. It's $170. Someone help me if that was actually a package or just the ship.
Just the ship, LTI.
Okay. This is a space superiority fighter to match the Hornet, because of course so many people have a Hornet now. It's a dedicated dog fighter. There are no plans for other variants of modulars. It's a dog fighter. Now, while the Hornet has armor, can be a little sluggish actually, but armor and weapons, the Saber tends to be stealthy, agile, fast. So it's designed to kind of surprise, like jump in, unload on somebody, and then fly out of there, because it can't take the beating that the Hornet can, but it can stealth even better than the Hornet Ghost. It was made for that. It starts off with 2 fixed laser repeaters and 2 gimbaled laser cannons. You can switch those out how you want. You can have 4 fixed size 3 guns or 4 gimbaled size 2 guns or whatever mix of both. We did see there was also temporarily an Idris P offered with a fleet of military ships, but that was only the first 48 hours.
They've forgot the most important part.
Go ahead.
It's a dual engine. It's a light fighter craft, and it's Bruce Wayne. Those guns that all pop out, they can combine back into the ship to make it a smaller silhouette. So it's more stealthy, gives off a smaller thing, but the things open up and the guns are ready to fire. It's pretty sweet. It's only $5 difference between the Super Hornet and this ship. So it depends if you want to be the brawler, the person who's got more turrets and 2 people on it, or if you want this light attack craft.
All right. Rothak, thanks for also providing that link in the live chat. I think I have it cut out for me. I have to link all this stuff when this hits on the when we get it on YouTube. And let's see. Again, thanks, folks. Let's see. I was going to jump down to now. Oh, letter from the chairman. Of course, we know we passed 1 million citizens. Alpha passes and the $5 Arena Commander passes are now eliminated. Every Alpha Access package will be awarded 10,000 UEC. And everyone who purchased an Arena Commander pass individually will be given 5,000 UEC, and those stack if you have multiple Alpha packages. So they said it might take a while. It looked to me like that's already happened on my account. Other things, development. We pretty much kind of covered that, actually. So, any last thoughts, gentlemen? Or co-hosts, actually.
Yeah, I'm just enjoying the development of the game and how it's progressing. Things seem to be picking up speed at this point, so it's very exciting.
Newt asks, question, is it possible to accept the fact that Hornet is like Saber? Well, little no. I'd say so. I mean, they were definitely meant to be in the same class, even though it sounds like they may handle a little differently.
Can I jump in for a second?
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, when I look at the 3 kinds of fighters, main military dogfighters we're looking at is the Gladius, the Saber, and the Super Hornet. And it really looks like they've set them up. Gladius being light, Super Hornet in the middle, Super Hornet at the far end of the heavy fighter, Saber in the middle. And the size, the Saber's actually a little bit bigger, or longer at least. They haven't given us all the stats, but longer than the Super Hornet, and yet is 5,000 kilograms of mass less. So that tells me probably more armor. And you look at the Super Hornet's got 1 size 4 main thruster, TR4, and the Saber's got 2 TR3s. And I think it's perfectly combined to go right in the middle. So if you don't want the heavy fighters like Thamin was saying, and you don't want the lightest Gladius, the Saber might be right up your alley.
It's got dual engines. It's got 4 shields. It's got a smaller power plant, so it's not going to be able to put out the same kind of power. But the Hornet can stand there and dish it out. That's the comparison. The Hornet's going to stand there and blow the stuff up. The Saber's going to go in, blow stuff up, and get out.
All right. So, folks, again, thanks everyone who joined us. We're going to have to call it at that. Be sure to follow to check us out whenever we're broadcasting Star Citizen again. And again, like I say, really looking forward to this new baby persistent universe at all Squadron 42. Really can't wait for it.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you all for